This is the 138 Miles Podcast with Matt Van Winkle and Drew Schlosser. Welcome to the second Cyclone 138 Miles Podcast. My name is Matt Van Winkle, joined once again by Drew Schlosser, my co-host. Last time we kind of introduced you as a guest, but that's not the case. You're not a guest, Drew.
No, I'm here.
Drew is our co-host for the 138 Miles Cyclone Podcast. Drew, today we're going to talk about a little bit of both Cyclone basketball and Cyclone football. We'll get things started here with Cyclone basketball. Went down to Drake at the Knapp Center last night and took a really tough loss, 74-65. Really a loss Iowa State fans really weren't expecting with this new team this year. Fred Hoiberg after the game said his team was not prepared coming out of the game.
No.
Drew, what were your thoughts about last night's game quickly?
From listening to Fred Hoiberg's post-game speech, he said that we're not as good as we thought we were. I thought he nailed it on the head, that just because we have all this transfer talent, we had one of the best benches of the year last year, or benches of the nation. Just because we have all these good players doesn't mean that we're automatically going to get wins.
Exactly.
We didn't look prepared.
Right.
Couldn't rebound, couldn't shoot free throws.
Right. And to be fair, I didn't catch the whole game. I did see bits and pieces, and I did see highlights, and I heard Coach Hoiberg's thoughts after the game. And hearing from other people, it's sounding to me like what they saw looked like the Cyclones of the past, and that's not what fans wanted to see this year. We got Royce White down on the block, Anthony Booker, those big, strong guys. And Drew, Iowa State and Drake were both tied at the end of the game with 33 rebounds apiece. So that's not something you want to see against a Missouri Valley team. You'd expect a Big 12 team to be owning the boards and come out on top, but that's not what happened last night.
It looked like it was our first game playing with each other.
Yeah.
And, even against Lehigh, we haven't been really meshing as a team. It just seems that almost like there's so many different types of players that putting them all together is not working out. I mean, Drake did not have a good game, and they beat us.
Right.
It was
a weird game.
It was a battle the whole time.
Yeah. Both teams shot just about 30% from the field in the game. I think it was something like 33% for Iowa State and 31 something for Drake. So, but Drake had the shooting advantage. It looked like in the second half they ran away with like 60% from the field there in the second half, and they went on to win the game 74-65. Like I said, not the game Cyclone fans were expecting to see, but
especially because Iowa State beat Drake by 48 points last year.
And this team is quite different than that team last year. So Iowa State goes into Hilton Coliseum. They're back at home on Sunday to play Western Carolina. I'm not going to be at that game. I'll be gone, but Drew, are you going to be going to that game?
I should be at that game.
Okay, so let's hope the Cyclones play a little bit better on Sunday, and I think throughout the season we'll see them progressively get more comfortable with each other. I think what they're really missing right now is a true point guard, and
definitely
that's something that's been the question since the start of the preseason, even when Hoiberg got all these guys coming in.
Since DG graduated,
since Deontay was gone, that was the question:
who was going to take over?
Who was going to replace him? And Scott Christopherson really has been the guy they've kind of been looking at, but he needs to be shooting more if he wants to be a point guard. He needs to distribute the ball more.
He needs to be a point guard.
Exactly.
That's what he's not.
And he's not really a true point guard. He's more of a better shooting guard and outside shooter from the corners. So we'll see. Iowa State again plays Western Carolina. We're going to say it should be a winnable game, but we thought Drake should be a winnable game too, and Iowa State didn't come out on top. So, all right, let's move right along to football, Drew. Iowa State coming off a bye week. They're at home. They're going to play the number 2 team in the nation, Oklahoma State. Drew, what are your thoughts of the Cowboys coming into this game at Jack Trice Stadium on Friday, actually, it should be?
They are undefeated, Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Not looking like a great matchup for Iowa State, who's 5-4 right now. But what do you have to lose? I mean,
exactly.
If we get blown out at home by the number 2 team in the nation, we got blown out at home. What? It doesn't matter. But if we put up a solid game like we did for parts of Texas A&M for most of the game against Texas Tech, if we can show up to play a good football game, then it might raise some eyebrows, get us motivated for the upcoming weeks at Oklahoma and Kansas State. But and if we do pull an upset out, how great is that? Make it bowl eligible.
It would be too cool. I agree. And you look at this offense from Oklahoma State, and you got guys like Brandon Weeden, the quarterback for Oklahoma State, who's 28 years old. We've heard that story over and over, but he's just a beast. He is so good. His favorite receiver is Justin Blackman, who's got over 1,000 yards already on the season, 14 touchdowns, Drew. Joseph Randall, their starting running back, is probably going to surpass 1,000 yards against Iowa State. I think he's like 7 yards shy. He's got 21 touchdowns on the year. So that kind of just gives you a little bit of taste of this Oklahoma State offense and how powerful they are. And, I've watched a couple of their games, and it just seems like every time they get the ball, they're just driving down the field and scoring. And it's...
Yeah, they score quickly. They have the second overall passing
it's
team
nuts
in the nation. They can score at will, it seems, against any team. This Saturday they went up against Texas Tech, who we handled and crushed them 66-6 at Lubbock.
Right.
And doesn't do much for Iowa State's point for showing up Texas Tech when they go and get dominated by them. So
I'm just going to read you something quick. I'm going to go through their games and tell you how many points they've scored in each game. 61, 37, 59, 30, 70, 38, 45, 59, 52, and 66, as you said, against Texas Tech. So, man, they are a high-powered offense. As we said, the number 2 team in the nation. One thing I do want to point out, on November 5th, they played Kansas State. And Kansas State actually put 45 points on the board against I keep saying the Sooners, but they're the Cowboys. Okay.
They're in-state.
They're in-state, yeah. And that's another thing. It's weird to see Oklahoma State be the number, higher than Oklahoma in the rankings right now. Or
Texas even.
Yeah, or Texas. So Oklahoma State's turning their program around. But back to that, Kansas State put up 45 points against Oklahoma State. And that's something I think is noteworthy because we can see that vulnerability in that defense against. I mean, I'm not saying Kansas State's a bad team. Obviously, they're ranked 14th or what? Top, not even. They're top 25 right now. I don't know what exactly they're ranked, but Kansas State puts 45 points against Oklahoma State. I'm not saying Iowa State's going to come out and put up that many points, but if they can hold Brandon Weeden, if they can contain him, which I think is going to be really tough to do, they're just going to have to pull out all the stops. Try everything they've got in the playbook. Like you said, nothing to lose on Friday, Drew.
Well, don't let the 45 points put up by Kansas State lead you to think that they have a weak defense because Kansas is ranked 14th right now, and they're a team rolling on all cylinders right now too.
Yep.
But Oklahoma State is one of the top defenses for turnovers. I think they have about 34 turnovers.
Yeah, they're like
in the year, and like we were saying earlier, their high-powered offense, they score so quickly. The defense is on the field for most of the game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those points can be scored late in the game when the defense has been tired because, it could Weeden to Blackman, 2 plays, and they're 80 yards down the field.
And I think their turnover margin is like plus 18 or something nuts like that. And Iowa State's, as we know, they've been struggling with the turnovers. They're minus 8 right now on the season. So those struggles continue. I think, we saw against Kansas, they had all those turnovers in the red zone, and Iowa State squeaked out a win against Kansas. I think if Iowa State can be consistent on offense, not turn the ball over in the red zone, I think we have, I don't want to say we have a chance to winning, but I think we have a chance to put up some good numbers against Oklahoma State.
Well, if Iowa State can be consistent for the entire game, it always gives us a chance to win. That's been one of Iowa State's downfalls, is not playing a full four quarters of good football. There's always been some mistakes,
right?
Confusion, just things haven't been working out for Iowa State for a whole game. And we saw that happen, though. We saw them working for us against Texas Tech. And then we turn around and we have confusion on the plays. We have turnovers, people false starts, not paying attention, just undisciplined,
right?
Stupid penalties, and that's what hurts us. So if we can play smart football for a full 60 minutes, then we always will have a chance.
Right. And Iowa State is coming off back-to-back wins, Drew, Texas Tech and Kansas. So they've got a little bit of momentum coming into this game. Coming off a bye week, so they've got that. I don't know. We talked about this last week. Was that bye week beneficial, do you think? Do you think it's going to be beneficial for this team?
I think that they will be able to get a look at how their offense works, Oklahoma State's offense works. They get to see the pass schemes, which is a lot of what the Oklahoma State offense does. I think it's going to be beneficial. Last bye week, it didn't really help us for the Texas preparation. But I think when you have a bye week, it always gives you some extra help.
Yeah.
Practicing for a team,
right?
No matter what, you just have to put it out on the field. You have to execute.
And this is a big game too for Oklahoma State. I mean, pretty much all the pressure's on them at this point. They're coming in number 2 in the nation. If they win this game, I'm pretty sure they have a pretty good shot at locking up that a trip to the national title, Drew. Coming in undefeated.
Well, they play Oklahoma next.
Right, they got a big game against Oklahoma, but as we saw LSU defeat, was it Alabama?
Yeah.
Last week or 2 weeks ago, I guess it was now that
2 weeks ago.
That we had this bye week.
They
it's
had some
me off.
non-conference game.
Yeah.
Middle
weird.
Tennessee or something like that.
It's weird. And this bye week's been throwing me off a little bit, but yeah, like I said, Iowa State, I mean, they've got nothing to lose. Oklahoma State's got everything to lose. They're undefeated. Iowa State wins this game. We go to a bowl game. I mean, it's that simple. Drew, what are your predictions for Friday's game?
I predict Oklahoma State scoring a lot of points.
Okay. Yep.
I predict Iowa State will put some points on the board. I don't think Oklahoma State's defense shuts us down completely, but I think that Whedon to Blackman will definitely demotivate the team. I just think we're going to be overpowered by their offense, which will going to lead to a slow start, and it will sort of slow things down.
A little bit like the Texas game was.
It will not really get the crowd into it, but I still think we can put maybe 14 points on the board.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, I think Iowa State is going to lose this game. I don't think anyone has them as a favorite in this game. If they are, they're crazy. But I think Iowa State will score. I think the running game has really been stepping it up for me, and I really like how Iowa State has been running the ball lately with James White. I think they're gonna have to use everybody though. They're gonna have to just try everything. Run reverses, run whatever they can.
Trick plays.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not trick plays?
Sure.
It almost doesn't matter because if we lose, we were predicted to lose, and it was the number 2 team in the nation. But if some of those plays work, like onside kick, why not? If it works, why not?
Yeah. I think Iowa State loses this game by at least, I'm going to say 3 touchdowns. But, this game's Friday. It's going to be on ESPN. You can catch it there at 7 o'clock. Drew, any final thoughts? You're going to be going to the game, I'm assuming?
Oh, yeah, I'll be there.
I'll be down there on the field. Should be a good one. It'll be cool to see the number 2 team in the nation coming into Jack Trice. The game is I think they sold over 50,000 tickets again for something like the 5th or 6th straight time. So that's pretty cool. Should be a good crowd, a good game. All right, thanks for listening. Drew, where can you check us out at?
You can find us online at facebook.com/138miles. Follow us on Twitter at 138miles, and check our blog for updates at 138mi.blogspot.com.
And we're going to try to get these podcasts up for you guys on iTunes. Hopefully they'll be up later this week. We'll see you next time.